One, I really appreciate, SIU coming over and playing. Sometimes it's hard to get, exhibition games at home. We wanted to find somebody good, that's kind of an area team, a valley team that people know. I thought we had a really nice crowd out there. I knew they would, which was good for us. So I appreciate them doing the game. And then I think when I look at it, right now, I think we got everything out of it we probably wanted to. We had some adversity right away just because we had, three of our good players out. We kind of talked about how we handle those situations because they pop up all the time during the year. And I thought our guys really battled and did a good job. We had moments where I thought we played well. We had moments where we struggled, which I think we know we're going to get that at this time of the year. But I think at the end of the day, like we just talked about in the locker room, we're going to have plenty of film to get to tomorrow. And, I thought we did a good job tonight. And then from here, do we get better from this is going to be the most important thing, is how we break down the film, how we see our mistakes, how we handle it, and continue to improve. Because I think obviously we have a long way to go, but I do think we've made some progress from the last time out against Ball State. And I think that was the biggest thing, is are we better tonight than we were, a week and a half ago.
You talked about the injuries, but Talton and McDaniel give you a lot of minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Those are guys that, we're all thinking about coming back from injuries. So
Yeah.
What did you see from those two in particular?
Well, I think J-Mac has been really good. He's been the same as he was before he got hurt. He gives you his energy. He's good. He's better than you think around the rim. He's good helping the flow of our offense. So I thought he did a good job. And then I just thought, Jeremiah, just like we just said in the locker room, he just played more minutes, tonight than he has in a year and a half. He's cramping with both legs at the end of it. And I said, I don't know what you thought it was going to be. He probably played way too much tonight, but I was just proud of him, man, to get him back out there. I thought he played good at Ball State. I thought the way he played tonight, he was solid. He was aggressive. He took open shots. Didn't really try to stay within himself. I just was happy to see him back out there, and I know he was happy to be back out there.
And then Nedadic, I haven't seen him play, but he was the best big man on the floor for either team.
Yeah, I thought he did really well. You take guys out of the transfer portal, you learn as much as you can about them. We had an idea, but I think he's probably exceeded expectations a little bit to this point. He's kind of a good fit for what we're doing on offense, so I think it helps him. But I think the thing about him is, kind of like J-Mac, kind of like JT. Milos didn't play a whole lot either. So he's got an opportunity now to finish his career, probably have the best year that he's had. He's got a big role for us. He's a good, skilled guy that can step out and shoot it a little bit. So he does a lot for us. So I just think he's in a great spot, and I think he's doing a good job of embracing kind of, hey, I'm in a good situation here, and I'm going to make the most of it.
And then talk about the injuries themselves. Where are those guys at in terms of being ready for Monday?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of guys that are close. I don't know if I can tell you today if anybody will be back by Tuesday, but I think guys are close. I think Jadis is close. If I had to guess, I don't think Aeneas will be there. Dontrez probably won't be there. But they're getting really, they're as close as they've been. I think that when you look at Jadis's thing, there's some precaution there because he had practiced the entire week going into the Ball State scrimmage, and then third play of the game he gets hit awkward and re-aggravates it. So I think it's a little bit there of, let's take a little more time with it to make sure this time, I think it was 100% last time, but, a little bit of a freak deal that it just kind of re-aggravates it. I think with Aeneas, he's just in a process from the knee surgery that, his is a timetable of, he started back with, 1-on-0 activities, skill workouts, non-contact stuff. This week a little bit, he'll ramp that up a little bit more here at the end of the week and into next week. But and then Dontrez is kind of a week-to-week deal. He's got to go back a couple of days and get his wrist reevaluated, and kind of just depends what the X-ray looks like. So I think we're making progress. We'll just see if we can get them all back at some point.
Cooper, you've talked to me about Cooper and having a point guard that's solid. He had more turnovers than assists tonight.
Yeah.
He shot the ball really well. Just talk about his growth in the program.
I think the thing for him and Clayton is, they're both just playing a ton of minutes right now because of the guard depth. And, I just feel like when we can get those two guys as a team at the point, I kind of like what they're doing. I think for a guy like Mackay, 35 minutes is a bunch. Clayton played 37. That's a lot, and then to still be able to make shots and do those things gets tough. But I think what he's going to be able to bring to us over time is just going to be a steady guy that, I think we're going to know what we're going to get out of him. I think he's going to be disappointed that he had more assists than turnovers because I think he's a true point guard. And I think he wants to do that. And at the same time, he's kind of feeling the style of play that I'm going to run offense, but then when I get my opportunities, I have a chance to, play off the pick and roll or push it in transition and see if I can score or make a play for somebody else, which is a little bit new to him. So he's just been getting better and better the more comfortable he gets in what we're trying to do offensively.
And as somebody that, tries to pay attention to you guys, Talton, McDaniel, Nedidit, however I say his name, those guys, Cooper, get your guys healthy. This team looks significantly better to me than the one a year ago.
Well, I hope you're right. I don't know. I like them. I like the character of them. I've liked them from the start. I think we replaced the guys that we lost. I think with good pieces. Like I said, doing a little bit some different stuff offensively than we did a year ago. I think has helped this team. But time will tell, obviously. I think if we continue to work and we continue to grow together, and I think we've seen a lot of that in practices of a good, of a lot of good teammates out there. I think we have a lot of good guys that, they don't mind when, if Milos has 20 points tonight and if JT has 20 the next night. I don't feel like we care about that. And I think that's something that we've got to grab a hold of and see if we can have a special group of guys that kind of help propel us along.
So with the injuries to your guards, obviously you got to rely more on Clayton Jackson and Mackay Cooper. What did you like from Clayton Jackson tonight?
I thought he did a good job of playing through a little bit of everything. At times I got to remind myself that Clayton is a sophomore, and he played a good role for us last year. He's playing a bigger role now, and the thing that you love about him is, he's just a winner. He wants to always do the right things. If you're teaching him something on the fly, he's going to try to change it right away. And so I think, through the ups and downs, we talked to him. I thought he took a couple quick shots late in, 6-7 minutes in the game when we were really trying to slow down and execute, which is not his character, but I think he learns from those mistakes right away. But at the same time, you got a guy that's out there that cares about the right things. He wants to win. He's tough. He's going to defend. He's going to kind of be your leader in the heat of the moment is where we want to get him to. And then, kind of what he did last year was at times he was just a guy that you just felt really comfortable with being in the game. And I think you see the same thing now is you're comfortable with him out there because more times than not, he's going to try to make the right plays. And I think that's a big thing that we need.
SIU had 19 points off of 14 turnovers tonight. How do you clean up the turnovers, especially?
It's something that we have to do. It feels like we had more than 14 turnovers, but probably because they scored on so many of them. Because I think we should be a team that handles the ball and has a low turnover number. But it's just about making the simplest plays. And we've been talking about that over and over, as I'm sure a lot of teams do this time of year. But that's going to be the key for us is, the offensive efficiency in the half court is what we're chasing, right? And that's what we want to get to. And I think there were so many possessions tonight where either they took us out of what we wanted to do or we just didn't have the patience to execute it the way we would like to. And like I said, that's what we start with film tomorrow. But the turnovers is always something because we want to have 10 or less as a goal, and then we want to create more. So we didn't create many turnovers tonight. We turned it over more than them. And like I said, when you think about that being it's a 10-point game, but I think it's still a 4 or 6 point game with 3 minutes left, and then all of these things come to add up on you, right? They beat you in the paint. They get more fast break points than you did. They get more points off turnovers than you did. So those are the things that kind of you don't necessarily feel them all the time in the moment, but then when you come back here and look at it, they really add up. And I just don't think we can be that type of team.
Well, what did you like out of your team defensively tonight?
I liked and I think we knew we were going to get this, I liked the challenge that SIU brought to us. We were very bad in defensive transition against Ball State, and so we put an emphasis on it. we were a little bit better tonight. I can't tell you that we were a lot better because they still hurt us in transition. But I saw a better commitment. I saw a better effort. We talked about being more competitive in transition, whether that's transition off turnovers, whether that's transition off made or missed shots. When you find yourself in an outnumbered situation and a disadvantage, you've got to compete in those areas. And I thought we had a couple more possessions where we competed. I thought we had a couple more possessions where we got back. But like even you can remember, I think we hit a big three at some point in the last, 5-6 minutes, and they ran it right back down at us and got a layup. And so we still have a long way to go. But I think when we watch the film, we'll see a little improvement there against a team that really played fast. So that was great for us.
You mentioned Jackson. He just looks more confident. Am I seeing that correctly?
No, I think so. I mean, Clayton's a guy that, he's a constant worker. So I think anybody when they put the time in and they put the work in, that's going to lead to your confidence, right? Because you're doing the right things over and over. He's in the gym shooting, he's working on his ball handling. He's an all day, everyday guy in practice. Him and Makai, they never come out of practice just from a numbers standpoint. But he doesn't really miss a beat at that. He's in great shape, physical guy. So I just think his work ethic probably breeds that confidence that he has. And I'm fine with it. I think you have to be confident in this game, right? You have to be able to learn what good shots and bad shots are, good passes and bad passes are, and everybody has to go through those things. But if you don't have a confidence about you, you're going to be in a tough spot. So I don't have any. I think you're right, and I'm glad he's that way.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Coach.
Yeah, appreciate it.